Everyone get ready, because today we're diving deep into something really wild. Faradarmani and Psymentology.
Two alternative therapies.
Exactly. And get this, they come from a school of thought called Erfan Keyhani Halqeh.
Yeah, we talked about it in our previous episode. Erfan Halqeh, it was founded by Mohammad Ali Taheri like over 40 years ago, and it's like this all new ways of thinking about human and the universe.
Okay, so spiritual origins. And specifically a concept called interuniversal.
Interuniversal.
Yeah. Well, you know how we typically think of ourselves as just physical beings.
Right, just flesh and bones, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interuniversal basically flips that idea
Okay.
and says the human being is as vast as the universe itself.
Right.
A person is not merely a physical entity, but encompasses infinite aspects, such as various subtle bodies, energy channels, chakras,
Wow.
different frequency fields, and many other components and numerous other software.
So are you saying there's more to us
Yes.
than meets the eye? Like we are not just flesh and bones?
Yeah, there's more to us than
Okay.
we can see or touch.
I know that Mr. Taheri considers humans from a software standpoint rather than a hardware one.
Right.
It emphasizes that the software elements, which are the hidden aspects of existence, constitute the essence of our being, while the hardware, our physical body,
Got it.
is merely a small part of our existence.
From this perspective, illness is defined as any disorder or condition
Yes.
that disrupts or impairs any of the infinite aspects of our existence.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
So, okay, if we're made up of all these different components,
Right.
diagnosing illness from an interuniversal perspective is a whole different ballgame.
Right.
It really challenges the way that conventional medicine
Yeah.
typically approaches health and disease.
I can imagine.
You know?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If we have all these layers of software,
Right.
any one of them could be disrupted
Right.
and then contribute to what we experience as illness.
So it makes you wonder if some illnesses are being misdiagnosed.
This doctrine really highlights the complexity
Yes.
of human existence
For sure.
and how much we still don't understand.
Yeah. This might explain why conventional medicine has not achieved significant success in fundamentally curing illnesses and has only managed to control them to some extent.
Yes, it might be. According to the vast definition of human existence by interuniversal perspective, diagnosing illnesses is nearly impossible. Even if we could diagnose them,
Yes.
how would we access that specific area to address the issue?
So how do Faradarmani and Psymentology
Yeah.
fit into all of this?
Yeah.
Do they try to address these imbalances in our software?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Faradarmani and Psymentology are complementary medicines. They focus on connecting individuals to what they call the cosmic consciousness network, like we discussed in our last episode.
Everything in Erfan Halqeh ultimately leads to the cosmic consciousness network.
And ENST is described as this intelligent source that governs everything
Okay.
in the universe.
So it's like the source code of the universe.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's like a cosmic internet that humans can connect to. And through this connection, they can activate many of their latent potentials,
Okay.
one of which is the restoration and recovery of both physical and non-physical aspects of the human being.
So it's like tapping into the source code of the universe to heal.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
That by connecting to this network,
Mm-hmm.
the inherent intelligence within our bodies is activated
Okay.
and can then begin to correct these imbalances.
So wait, you're saying our bodies already have the ability to heal themselves?
That's the idea.
We just need this connection to unlock it.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. We need this connection to the source code, which has access to the entire map of our existence.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like a huge paradigm shift
It is.
from how we normally think about health and healing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a practitioner called a Faradarmani, they bring them into an edisol, or connection, which is the closest meaning of it to English.
So they're like a mediator.
Exactly. They facilitate that connection.
Okay, but how can a Faradarmani connect people to the cosmic consciousness network?
Actually, the ability to connect to this cosmic internet is granted by Mohammad Ali Taheri
Yes.
to anyone who joins the Erfan Keyhani Halqeh classes.
Okay.
It's astonishing, but as far as I know, a Faradarmani, or someone who can connect a patient, just does so through a quality called nazar, which honestly deserves its own episode to fully explain. But for now, the closest way to describe it in English would be like allowing the thought to pass through their mind. It's more like a zero-time phenomenon.
Unbelievable.
Indeed.
I can't imagine that such a profound connection could be established so simply.
That's amazing.
What does the patient or the person receiving the connection need to do?
From what I understand, the only requirement for the connection is Witnessing.
Witnessing?
This means the person being connected and remains an impartial observer and doesn't need to do anything. No mantra, no chanting, no special technique, and no particular skill. Absolutely nothing.
Interesting.
The key is to completely surrender to the consciousness during the connection process.
So, they shouldn't think, will it work? Or it won't work. Instead, they should just observe what happens, monitor themselves, and refrain from judging the process.
Precisely. Remaining completely impartial in the process is key. What's remarkable is that there is no requirement for belief. It is the simple act of staying open and neutrally observing what unfolds, just as a witness does when observing an event.
Wow. This is completely different from any other method introduced so far.
Totally.
No one has ever said, do nothing and you'll heal.
Yes.
There's always been a technique involved.
What's even more astonishing is that neither the healer nor the patient does anything. An individual ability plays no role in this process.
Fascinating. So, if a result is achieved, it clearly originates from somewhere beyond human effort. Truly remarkable if this is indeed true. So what happened during that connection, or edesal?
Okay,
What does it feel like?
that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
According to Faradarmani practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
this network scans your entire being.
Okay.
Like all those infinite aspects we talked about.
So all this software and the hardware.
Everything.
Okay.
And this scanning process is often felt in various ways by the person receiving the connection. And the interesting point is that
It's not the practitioner
or the Faradarmangar,
doing the diagnosing,
it's the cosmic consciousness network itself.
Okay.
identifying areas of tension or imbalance.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how difficult it is to diagnose illness
Right.
with all these layers.
So,
But Faradarmani claims this cosmic consciousness network, or CCN, can just scan it all.
that's the claim.
Yeah, it seems almost too good to be true.
It's a big claim,
It is.
but that's the core belief behind Faradarmani.
Okay.
And it aligns with the concept that T-consciousness is the most fundamental building block of the universe, which is what has given rise to matter and energy and all of us.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then it would make perfect sense that this universal intelligence should have access to all aspects of our existence and
Right.
has the ability to repair and heal them.
Yes, and that's because cosmic intelligence has access to information that's beyond our current understanding or what we can scientifically measure or comprehend.
Right.
They believe this universal intelligence has access to information
Okay.
that's beyond our current understanding.
So like beyond science.
Yeah, beyond what we can currently measure or comprehend.
Okay.
And they say faith or belief isn't even required for it to work.
Okay.
The CCN just does its thing.
So even if someone is skeptical,
Yeah,
they could still potentially benefit from it?
that's what they claim. During a Faradarmani session,
Mm-hmm.
something they call discharge can occur.
Discharge.
Yeah, it's like a deep energetic release
Okay.
Where past illnesses or potential future ones that might be brewing in the body, unbeknownst to the person.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
You're saying that a Faradarmani session can bring up old illnesses from
Right.
childhood?
It could.
Or even things that haven't happened yet?
That's the idea.
How is that even possible?
It's definitely a challenging concept. Let's say you had a traumatic experience
Okay.
as a child
Uh-huh.
that you've suppressed.
Right.
This experience might still be affecting you on a subconscious level, even if you're not consciously aware of it.
Yeah.
During the Faradarmani or Psymentology,
This suppressed trauma could come to the surface
Okay.
as a form of discharge.
So it's like getting to the root of something
Exactly.
rather than just treating the symptoms.
It's about identifying and addressing the root cause,
Okay.
whether it's rooted in the past, present,
Okay.
or potential future imbalances.
Okay, I'm starting to understand.
Good.
in the Faradarmani connection, the cosmic consciousness network determines which issue or disorder the patient should address.
Okay.
However, there is another type of connection that we will explore further in the future. In this method, especially useful for doctors and specialists handling urgent medical cases, the practitioner can specifically focus on a particular part of the body, organ, or cells affected by the illness and request the cosmic internet to exclusively target that area for treatment and healing.
I've heard about this capability too, and I know that around 2009, Mohammad Ali Taheri introduced this type of connection to doctors at Tehran University, and they reportedly achieved fascinating results as well.
Yes, which is incredibly impressive.
They also claim that Faradarmani and Psymentology can be done remotely.
Remotely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which lends credence to the idea
Okay.
That this cosmic consciousness network isn't bound.
by the limitations of space and time.
So, like, distance doesn't matter.
It's not a factor.
If distance doesn't matter, does that mean anyone, anywhere can tap into this?
That's the implication.
That really challenges our conventional understanding of healing.
We tend to think we need to be in physical proximity to someone, but Faradarmani suggests otherwise. It's all about that connection to the cosmic intelligence, regardless of location.
Wow. So it is like having access to a universal doctor who can see beyond the physical and address the root of the problem and heal it. So distance is irrelevant when it comes to consciousness. In fact, the Faradarmani doesn't even need to know the specifics of the patient's illness. The cosmic intelligence handles that part.
Yes, exactly. But can you tell me how long it takes for this healing process to occur?
The healing process may vary among different patients, but it typically follows one of several patterns that are charted as graphs to help visualize the expected progression and outcomes in each case. And what's really appealing is that these therapies are non-invasive, gentle, and can be used alongside conventional medical treatments.
So it's not about choosing one over the other, but rather integrating them for a more holistic approach to well-being.
Precisely. And the results can be quite remarkable.
Can you give us some examples of the kind of results people have experienced?
According to the available information, thousands of reports have been received about the healing of various illnesses.
Interesting.
Numerous case reports document the impact of Faradarmani on a wide range of incurable physical diseases such as cancer,
Wow.
MS, diabetes, arthritis, heart and brain disorders, as well as psychological conditions like depression, schizophrenia, phobias, OCD, panic disorders,
Okay.
and even unusual issues like sleepwalking or sleep paralysis. There are even reports of it reviving patients in comas.
Wow. That's incredible.
This becomes even more fascinating when I add that these two complementary therapies also surpass the genetic barrier, with reports of genetic disorders being treated as well.
Holy Christ, no way.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems to encompass almost all diseases, even those considered incurable. If it's true, we could be witnessing a groundbreaking revolution in medicine. So, do 100% of patients actually see results?
Well, that's where one-way and two-way healing come in. When I say healing, I mean Faradarmani.
Right.
With one-way healing, the patient isn't even aware they're receiving it. The Faradarmani is working on them remotely, and research suggests about a 30% success rate.
That's pretty amazing considering they don't even know it's happening.
What about two-way Faradarmani?
That's where the patient actively participates in the process. They're aware of the Faradarmani and intentionally engage with it. The success rate jumps up to around 70%.
Wow, so being an active participant makes a big difference.
But if this system is so effective,
Why doesn't it have like a 100% success rate? If this cosmic intelligence is scanning and addressing these imbalances, why wouldn't everyone be completely healed?
Well, that's a great question, and it gets to the heart of Taheri's concept of ecosystem balance. The idea is that if everyone was healed all the time, it would disrupt the natural order of things. Death, for instance, wouldn't occur naturally. So the ecosystem kind of acts as a filter, allowing healing to occur while maintaining this delicate balance.
So it's not about forcing healing on everyone, but rather working within the natural flow of life.
Yeah, exactly.
This is all so fascinating, but has any of this been studied scientifically? Is there any research to back up these claims?
Well, there's actually a whole research institute dedicated to scientifically studying Faradarmani and Psymentology. It's called the Cosmo Intel Research Institute, and Taheri himself founded it.
that's right. We had discussed this in previous episodes. Tell us more. What kind of research they are doing?
They're looking at all sorts of things. They've researched the effects of Faradarmani consciousness field on cell cultures, including bacterial contamination, cell growth, even how the SARS-CoV-2 virus replicates.
Okay, so we are not dealing with metaphysical claims here.
There's a real effort to understand these therapies scientifically.
Exactly. It's really exciting because we're potentially seeing science and spirituality merge, where consciousness recognized as the base for healing and transformation.
This is definitely pushing the limits of what I thought was possible.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we've only just scratched the surface of this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much more to explore.
Are there any risks or side effects associated with these therapies?
No, there is not. Since Faradarmani and Psymentology involve no physical manipulation of any type, they are completely safe. There has never been any reported adverse effects.
What about Psymentology? What makes this complementary medicine approach to mental and psychological well-being so unique?
It all comes down to getting to the root cause.
Oh,
So instead of just trying to manage things like anxiety or depression, Psymentology sees these as like disruptions, or you could even say bugs in the mind software.
interesting. So it's less about talking through your feelings and more about actually changing the way you think.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Psymentology wants to find and fix the faulty programming that leads to these mental and emotional challenges.
I see.
But here's a twist. Healing isn't actually the ultimate goal in the Erfan Keyhani Halqeh school. It's just the first step. Treatment in the complementary medicines of Faradarmani and Psymentology is totally free of charge, and no one is allowed to take money for it.
Wow. It's clear that the goal here goes beyond just treatment.
Yeah.
But hold on. Why wouldn't healing be the goal if you have this ability?
Well, because it's seen as a way to self-awareness and understanding the cosmic consciousness network. The idea is that by experiencing Faradarmani, students can grasp the existence of the intelligence governing the universe,
Okay.
which opens the door to deeper spiritual exploration.
So less about fixing the body, more about getting to know and connecting with the cosmic consciousness network.
Precisely. It's about using healing as a gateway to something bigger.
Okay, that's a pretty profound concept.
Yeah. It sounds almost like a personal growth
Yeah,
accelerator.
I like that.
It's not just about fixing what's broken. It's about existential elevation and expanding your knowledge.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And it makes sense if you consider the interconnected nature
Yeah.
of our being
Mm-hmm.
when you address the root cause
Yeah.
of an issue.
At the existence level,
Okay.
it can have like a ripple effect
Right.
throughout your entire system,
Yeah.
leading to profound shifts in your
Yeah.
physical,
Yeah.
mental, and spiritual well-being. And also a shift in all humanity and the entire universe, since we are all connected.
Absolutely. This is all incredibly fascinating.
But taking a step back, both Faradarmani and Psymentology really challenge our typical understanding of health and healing.
They introduce this idea that consciousness isn't just a product of the brain, but a powerful field that can heal and transform us at our core.
It's a huge shift in perspective, but one that could totally change how we approach well-being and even how we understand the universe.
Totally. And if someone is interested in these therapies and wants to learn more, there's information online and practitioners all over the world.
I'm sure we can include some links in the show notes for our listeners.
So much we still need to learn.
Absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
journey
Yeah.
of exploration, discovery, and constant evolution.
And it's a reminder
Yeah.
that we're part of something much bigger.
The universe is an amazing place.
It really is. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways
Okay.
for our listeners to ponder?
I would say, first, keep an open mind.
Yeah,
These concepts might challenge your current worldview,
right.
but that's where true growth and discovery often begin.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't dismiss them outright just because they sound strange or unfamiliar.
Embrace the mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to explore these ideas without judgment.
Okay, what else?
Secondly, do your research. If you're intrigued by Faradarmani or Psymentology,
Right.
delve deeper into the underlying principles
Yeah.
and seek out credible sources of information.
Awesome.
Keep asking questions, keep learning,
Yeah.
And keep diving deep into the mysteries of cosmic consciousness network.
Well said. This has been an incredible journey of exploration.
It has been.
Thanks for guiding us through this fascinating
Yeah.
and thought-provoking world.
The pleasure was all mine.
Yeah.
It's always a joy to delve into these profound topics
Yeah.
and share the insights with others.